Hi, it's Deborah Wilson here again. I recently posted about my muscle tension dysphonia journey. I promised that I would post again about some of the things that have really helped me in my journey, some of the things that I still do because I'm not yet 100% better. I still need to do a lot of things throughout the day to help my voice to function and to relax it when it gets tired and to do things to help restore its health. So I thought I would just share a lot of the things that I still do and have been helping me get this far. Probably something that was instrumental in actually helping things start to turn around was one, pain relief. Some medication that I got from my GP that also is a bit of a nerve blocker and a muscle relaxant at the same time. So I would strongly recommend, if you have a lot of throat or laryngeal pain still going on, if you have muscle tension dysphonia, then make sure you talk to your GP about perhaps what you could safely take. That really helped me to be able to think clearer once I could sleep better, not in pain, and function better throughout the day. The next thing was The Power of Positive Speech. This is a Christian book by Joyce Meyer, and it's The Secret Power of Speaking God's Word. And it's actually just full of positive Bible verses, some that really speak to me I've highlighted, or I've put little notes at the top, and I'll go through and I'll actually say them out loud and memorize them. And if you're not a person of faith, well, you might just find some positive quotes, but anything that can help to change your thought pattern from being negative and downhearted and feeling like it's hopeless to helping you to positively reframe and rewire your thoughts to belief, hope, truth, because a lot of the things that go up here are actually not true. It's just our perspective and our feelings at the time. And a future, and being able to imagine and believe for and hope for a better and a brighter future for yourself and for your voice. All those things help to just give us a more hopeful and brighter mindset so that we can then do the daily tasks that we need to do a bit better. So that has been a lifesaver for me. I'll put the details below in the links if anyone would like to get themselves one of those. Straw bubbles in water has been huge for me. I've bought this cup not that long ago, just from a supermarket or Big W or just a merchandise store. It has the hole in the lid, and it's a really wide straw, you can see, and I've got water in it up to about there. You would have heard a lot of people talk about the straw and the straw bubbles and all those sorts of things, but I have this one in the car with me all the time so that whenever I've been out and about and I've had to talk and then my voice is really tired, that'll be the first thing I'll do when I jump back in the car, is just so just up and down in sound, slowly, gently, or do some slides up and down, and for about 15 minutes minimum is what will then give you really long-lasting relaxation. It won't necessarily feel relaxing while you're doing it. You feel like it's working quite hard. I do. That's how it feels because my throat's already tired. But as soon as I pull the bottle away, even after 5 minutes, I can feel that it's already starting to feel better. So that's a huge help. And I managed to just buy one of these bamboo straws so that I've got a permanent one. The paper ones just don't last. The plastic ones often aren't wide enough. So I can just sit at home with a glass of water and just do them at home as well. What's another thing? So lip bubbles. If you've done any speech therapy, you would have already been told about all sorts of bubbles, lip bubbles and tongue bubbles. I won't go into them in great depth because I'm not a speech therapist. I'm only sharing what helps me. But just vibrating the air through your lips as they close. Going down really low helps to massage. And the tongue bubbles. I had trouble doing this when I was first taught it. My lips and just didn't want to do that. So it can be tricky for people, but if you keep practicing, you will manage. It doesn't look real attractive and your tongue's not actually vibrating, but the air coming out is actually vibrating your top lip. And that really helps to massage your larynx. And then I discovered one quite by accident. I don't know if other people already do this one somewhere else in the world, or I haven't been taught it, but I found that if I tuck the tip of my tongue behind my bottom teeth and then do the tongue bubble, it actually stretches my tongue at the same time as doing the lip bubble, the tongue bubble, and still massaging the larynx. So it's a bit of a double whammy. And if you have a tight tongue and you've been taught to do some tongue stretches, you'll know that stretching your tongue out and forward and down really helps to teach that tongue to, one, allow it to come up and off of those vocal folds, but also to stretch it forward and to just help relax it from being just jammed tight and tense if you have a tension in your tongue. So I found that one really, really helps. So tucking the tongue behind the front bottom teeth and then doing the tongue bubble. Give it a go. And the other form of bubbles that I also discovered, maybe other people are doing this as well, but no one taught it to me, and I discovered it in the bath. Having a nice hot warm bath is really relaxing if you are an anxious person, and if you have muscle tension dysphonia, then you're most likely someone suffering from tension and anxiety in bigger proportions in your neck and perhaps upper body. So a nice hot relaxing bath with Epsom salts or bath salts. I was doing that, or I do that quite regularly, but I actually noticed or discovered when I would swim laps that as I breathe out the air under the water while doing laps, that I could actually feel it vibrating really quite powerfully in my larynx. And so that gave me the idea that then when I'm in a nice warm relaxing bath, if I'm actually face down, I have my face about that much of my face under the surface of the water, and I actually blow bubbles under the surface of the water as opposed to in a glass, and I allow it to come out really slow or gentle, but evenly. You can actually get almost a rhythmic rhythm going, a bit like a very slow drum beat. And if you can get your face at the right angle, you can actually really feel going backwards and forwards like that. And it's a more powerful, for me, more powerful massage to my vocal folds than just water in a glass with a straw. So that's something that you could try. It takes a little while to get like the right depth for you, or the right air pressure coming out. Obviously you have to pull your face out of water and take another breath every now and then, but make sure it's a nice, really big, low breath into your tummy, so that while you're doing that, you're staying very relaxed. You need to be in a nice, relaxed position. If you're just sort of sitting there like that with tense shoulders and a tense neck, then it's not going to be of any benefit. But make sure you're relaxed, the nice warm steam of the warm bath is going to help as well. But I found that to be really, really powerful at the end of a day when my voice is really tired and sore. I'll get into the bath and I'll do that for 15 minutes and get out the bath, and my throat feels amazing. So another one is the steaming. If you don't have one of these are lifesavers. So I fill it up with boiling hot water to about there. And initially I was putting it completely over my nose and my mouth and breathing in that way with just the hot steam. But I wasn't really finding much effect until I saw someone just do it like this one day. And they weren't even breathing in through their nose. If you have blocked nose issues, obviously you want to include your nose, but I don't. I just want the purpose of just rehydrating my vocal folds. So I was doing it like that, and just closing off that little gap there because my chin doesn't quite block it off. And breathing it in and out slowly and relaxingly, until almost you can't sort of feel any more steam. It's all cooled down enough. But that, oh my gosh, since I've been doing that, that's hot, nice, hot, but bearable, perfect temperature steam is going straight to my vocal folds, and feeling it really, really powerfully that way. Nebulizing is another amazing thing. I bought this little tool not that long ago. It seems to function not too badly when I've cleaned it out properly and it's all good to go. It can be a little bit more finicky and a little bit more setting up to do, I guess, with the saline and then the washing out and the cleaning out, as opposed to this. But when I have nebulized for 10 to 15 minutes before I've sung, my gosh, they feel like completely brand new vocal folds. So yeah, if you want to purchase one of those, there's lots of different ones available on the market. Deep breathing is another powerful one. You can either do it through yoga, and obviously lots of people talk about that when they're doing their muscle tension dysphonia videos. Yoga with Adrienne is my favorite, as it is with lots of other people. She's very, very popular, but she's very, very good. It's all about becoming very relaxed and very centered and very grounded and very peaceful, and that's what we need so that we can calm all of this down. But I found that even in just the breath management courses that I did for speech pathology, just the breathing in a nice big breath into my lower belly area, and then just breathing it out slowly on a and then staccato a couple times, and then out again until all your breath is exhaled. And then the next consonant I would use is the F. Obviously, if you're doing it slower and more relaxed, your breath would come out a lot slower, right? If you're doing it for the purpose of relaxation and breath management. And then the next one was an S. Now, I'm doing that right now and at other times purely for a relaxation purpose. So I find that if I'm all of a sudden noticing that I'm feeling quite tense, I'm sitting there and my shoulders are up and my neck's tight and my tummy's up and my breath is caught here, and I've got a moment to myself, I'll just try and reground myself by doing those 3 sounds, letting the air out nice and slow and even. I find that really just helps to slow down my heart rate and brings that anxiety really down to a manageable and relaxed level. Another thing that I found really helped me with speaking, if I'm having a conversation, I don't know about you, but I tend to have a really dry throat. And before my voice broke down, I was really struggling with a dry throat while singing. Didn't seem that I would sing for very long, and just like everything just felt like so raspy, like sandpaper. Hence the steaming helps and all those sorts of things, drinking lots of water. But I still find that having something in my mouth that actually helps to increase the formation of saliva has been really helpful. If I'm about to have a conversation, or if I know I'm going to be talking for a little while, I just pop a chewy in my mouth. And once you've kind of chewed it down a little bit, and it's softer, you can just kind of like slide it to the side of your cheek so that you're not constantly chewing very rudely throughout a conversation. Or sometimes I even just stick it right at the roof of my mouth, but just behind my front teeth, and I can just kind of like, if you just got a small chewy, just kind of like stick it up there, and it can just kind of sit there. And I find that it actually helps me to open up my mouth a lot wider like this if I've got something in there. I even do that even with it just in the side a little bit. But just having something like that in your mouth that isn't food and you're about to swallow down just tends to help increase the saliva reaction in your mouth, and that just helps to keep everything a bit more fluid and a little bit more having a blank thing with my words, but yeah, it's just prevents that dryness. And for as long as you're chewing or have something in your mouth is going to naturally just create some extra saliva in there. So if you're out and about and you're just feeling a bit nervous, then that's an easy thing to do. I also came across these little things that you can order online. My speech pathologist put them on to me only because I had told her that the chewy behind my mouth was actually helping, but that, it was often a little bit too big and it would slip around. People could kind of tell that I was trying to figure something out was going on in my mouth. And these are these tiny little, what they call sticky dots, and they're soluble, so they're fine to swallow and ingest. And you just stick it exactly in the place where I spoke about putting the chewy, right behind the front of your teeth, but actually onto the roof of your mouth, so your hard palate. And it lasts for about an hour. Before the hour's up, it does start to break down, but I did find that if I was wanting to do some specific speaking exercises or talking exercises or something like that, and I popped it there, it did help me to just keep my mouth open and wide. It's not great for singing, only because as it starts to break down, I found that then as I was sort of swallowing bits and pieces of it, it would often cause me a little bit of itchiness or irritation, which you don't want if you're wanting to, sing and make lots of throat action. But it's just something you could try if you wanted to. So it's called Myo Spots, and you can order them online. Another thing that I discovered in a vocal educator toolkit course was about this dry mouth gel. I just bought this one from the chemist, but I did hear that you can get some dry mouth gel from a pharmacy, which I hadn't heard about before. And you just pop a little bit on your tongue, and you just kind of like swish it all around to all the areas that your tongue can reach, and it just lasts a little bit to lubricate the inside of your mouth. That's the word I was thinking of before with the chewies, with the saliva helping to lubricate your the inside of your mouth and your throat a little bit more. So this is a little bit the same in that I guess it's a bit like Bonjela. It's quite thick like that if you have a mouth ulcer or your baby's teething, you can pop a bit of gel on there. And this is a little bit the same, but it just is supposed to actually help your mouth from drying out quite a bit than if it does, and that's a problem that I have. So that's another thing that's been really helpful. If you're someone that has a lot of build-up of phlegm and you're trying not to throat clear, which was a huge problem for me, I think that probably was the beginning of the end for me, was when throat clearing became a massive habit for me. And probably it was because, well, one, I live in a very dry rural area, and hence why the steaming is really good for me, and the dry mouth gel is really good for me, because the air here is just really, really dry. There's not a lot of humidity. I'm constantly drinking water. It just doesn't seem to ever get where it needs to go. And so I was throat clearing because of all that dusty dryness in my throat. And so my throat, as a natural remedy, was creating more phlegm to just try and help the dryness in there. But what that does is then I was wanting to throat clear and just that all down and try and get rid of all this phlegm that was blocking off my throat, and I wasn't able to get the sounds out, wasn't able to sing without needing to throat clear first. And then when my voice broke down really seriously, it actually became like this film that was just across the top of my larynx, which, you know, if I was trying to not throat clear, I couldn't actually shift. So I came across these, which you can also get from a chemist or you can order online. BioGlen Throat Clear, and they are herbal, so there's nothing medicinal in them whatsoever. And I find them extremely helpful, once again, because there's something in your mouth, it just straight away increases the saliva. But it also actually just helps to dissipate that phlegm, and then you're actually just swallowing it down with the lozenge as you're just sucking the lozenge, and little bits of the fluid from the lozenge goes down your throat, and then with it, it seems to take the phlegm. It's obviously not a permanent fix. It's not like one pack and you're great, but it's helpful to just pop one in your mouth every now and then if you're just finding that phlegm has built up. And I probably need to have one of those or pop a chewy in my mouth immediately after eating, because even though I have gotten on top of my phlegm build-up, for some reason, whether it's because of my vocal disorder still being there, eating straight away just brings that phlegm presence straight away there over the top of my larynx and my vocal folds, which makes for me socializing over a meal extremely difficult. I find it even difficult to speak with my husband sitting at the dining room table having tea every night. So, you know, I always have a drink there that I can sip down, but yeah, talking while I'm eating with that phlegm just building up and closing off everything is really hard. So having one of these immediately after a meal, or a chewy or a hot cup of tea, actually just helps to settle it all back down. Then I can resume speaking again. Yeah. So another thing to do with the mouth, I'm guessing I'll go to next, is that if you don't have jaw or headache pain because of your muscle tension dysphonia, then I'm really glad for you. But that's something that I suffered from a lot. I had intense jaw pain, which just got worse, and it just went further and further up, and then it just went into my head, and it also went into my ears, so I couldn't wear earplugs at night. So I was suggested to go and see a dentist, and I forgot to say it in my last video, but as well as the Botox in my false vocal folds, I also had Botox in my TMJ, so my pterymandibular that thing joint, but yeah, basically went all the way down here. Sadly, it didn't help, hence why I ended up needing to go eventually on the pain relief and the muscle relaxant. But while I was seeing that dentist for that treatment, they did a sleep study on me, which I brought all the gadgets at home and I hooked myself up one night and I slept with that just to see what's going on for me at night, because we were all wondering, am I grinding my teeth at night and that's making my jaw tight, or is it just the tension and the stress that I'm going through throughout the day? So the sleep study didn't really detect if I was grinding my teeth, but it was able to say that I did have a bit of a sleep disorder going on, and so I was suggested some remedies to help me to sleep a bit better. So I would recommend you go and do that if you haven't already had a sleep study and your sleep is being affected like mine was. But while I was at the dentist, I did then talk to them about, well, what if I am grinding my teeth at night and we just don't know? And so they did an examination, and yes, they were starting to see there is some wear and tear going on, particularly on one side more than the other, which is evidence that I have begun to grind my teeth at night, which is what we do when we're stressed and we're anxious. And then unfortunately, it can become a habit, which I think it has become for me. So I got a mouth guard. So it's just a little piece of plastic which just operates very much like a braces, mouth guard that you would use after you've had your braces taken off and you only wear it at night. So it's in there. You can't, well, you can tell, obviously, it looks a bit weird. And I talk weird with it in, so it's obviously only something I wear at night, but it just helps to protect my teeth. And then if my teeth are joined together and they start to grind, apparently, without it feeling that hard surface, the brain doesn't automatically think, oh, okay, keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding. And it tends to cause them to separate and relax a bit more if it touches a softer surface rather than the teeth above or the teeth below. So that's another thing that I now do. So many things, isn't it? It's a lot of things to do. Another thing that I realized that I didn't do a lot or probably ever when I used to sing was nose breathing. So I just realized that, hey, I never knew you nose breathe during singing. I only ever breathe through my mouth, which would account for why my throat got so dry during singing. It never used to. I don't really know what changed, but yeah, it got to a point where I just couldn't sing without half an hour or 20 minutes, and straight away I needed to go get a drink. So apparently, when you're not needing to take a really quick breath, if you breathe in through your nose, then it's designed that the air is then filtered from all the dust that you might be breathing in through your mouth, but it's filtered through our nose hairs, and it's also made warmer. So then as it hits our vocal folds, that's actually better because it's better for them to be warmer rather than to be cold. As we all know, muscles respond when we warm up. That's why we warm up. So breathing the air in through our nose rather than our mouth throughout a whole song is a lot better for us vocally. That's something I only just recently learned. Another thing is I'm using my sad voice. So practicing using your sad voice, which actually, if you go down in notes and you have your hand here on your larynx, you will feel your larynx lower. It'll go down lower as you use your sad voice. And so if I'm in the middle of a conversation and I feel that my voice is getting higher and higher and higher and my larynx is getting tighter and tighter and going up higher and higher, and in the end I'm having a conversation like this and I'm all tense and it's going to be hurting me really soon, I can take a big breath, just hum through my nose with my lips closed. right down low, and use my sad voice and bring my voice back down to down here, and relaxing my larynx and helping it to come back down to earth, or back down to where it needs to be for just comfortable, everyday, relaxed speaking. Another thing is laryngeal massage. I won't go into how you do it because I am not a professional, but there are lots of videos on YouTube that you can look up and see. Karen Sussman, she's a voice specialist over in America. She has excellent laryngeal massage videos online that you can look up. That's Karen Sussman from Voice Care, Professional Voice Care. And Liz Bills, obviously, also someone I mentioned in my last video, is a muscle tension dysphonia sufferer expert who has come out the other side and is an incredible singer. She talks in a video about some laryngeal massage that she was taught. So yeah, look up those videos, but I do that quite regularly. At the moment, I'm doing it every day still. So it's one of those things that you can do very safely on yourself, but watch the videos so that you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how to do it correctly. And I hope that it helps you. Herbal tea is something that I drink a lot. So it doesn't have any caffeine in it. Caffeine dries out your throat. So herbal tea that is caffeine free, then you can have it throughout the day. You can have it last thing before you go to bed. I often just have one in my hand if I'm about to have a conversation, or I'll go get one if I'm in the middle of a conversation and then everything's starting to get really dry. Sure, you can get a glass of water. Room temperature water works fine, but I just find that the heat and the steam of the tea just helps, and it's just helping to lubricate my mouth again, increasing all that saliva and the moisture in there so that everything's just feeling comfortable and relaxed. You can drink as much herbal tea as you like, and if it helps you get through a moment, or if it helps relax you, if it helps you sleep better, then these are all wonderful things. Yawning. So just doing little mild, gentle yawns like that. Initially, I was taught to do some really big ones where I thought I was needing to do these really big, open my mouth up really wide and do these big, super duper yawns, but I think that's what was activating all the extra jaw work that eventually gave me all the headaches and the pain. So I was told you can actually yawn and actually open up the whole larynx area here without really even opening your mouth too much. So if you're about to sing somewhere as well and there's a crowd of people around, you can still do a little bit of a mini yawn by emulating everything that a yawn does in here without it really needing to be so visible in your face. But yawning helps to just lower and relax that larynx and bring it all down again. I'll do that several times throughout the day whenever things are starting to feel a bit tight. And the tongue stretches that I was shown how to do, I didn't find really worked for me, only because once again they activated my jaw a little bit. So I've discovered a bit of a tongue stretch where I'll actually bring it forward, but I won't stick it out of my mouth, and I'll actually slip it down between the front of my lip and or the behind, the front of my lip, so inside my lip, but in front of my bottom teeth, so like this. So if you were to stretch your tongue out and down, yes, it's coming out and down, and you can do that. That might work for you. But I found that this one, I can actually bring really forward, and I can feel it stretching my tongue right back here. And as you can see, it's not actually activating or using my jaw at all. so I'm not getting that jaw ache and jaw pain at the end of the day from doing multiple tongue stretches throughout the day. So that's another little thing that I discovered quite by accident. And if you have any dietary issues, so things that might be causing the phlegm or might be causing acid reflux, then I would really encourage you to go and see either a nutritionist, or for me, I went and saw a naturopath who actually specialises in gut health and diet and food allergies. So they were able to send me for a blood test, which actually was able to test for all the different foods that I was sensitive to. And then I just completely peeled everything back, and I didn't eat any of those foods that I came up as sensitive to, and went on a lot of their vitamin and mineral gut health and general health supplements. And in 2 weeks, my acid reflux disappeared. Do you know how long I had acid reflux for? 15 years. And I had been taking medication for it from GPs for 15 years, which, if you know anything about reflux medication, it actually just does more damage to your gut. And so my reflux was never going to get better or go away. And what happens with reflux is, you get phlegm. Your phlegm coming up. What happens with food allergies? Phlegm can be one of the symptoms. And so I cut out all the food that I was sensitive to. I took the vitamin and mineral supplements. I changed my diet dramatically, and in 2 weeks my acid reflux went away. Like I've already shared, I still get the phlegm as an issue, but it's not all day now throughout the day, constantly swallowing it back or needing to throat clear. It's only for when I after I eat, for some reason that just triggers or whatever's going on in there. Whether that's a little bit of silent reflux or not, I don't know. It's not something I'm going to go and get medication for, because like I said, I've been down that road and it didn't help. But these are a couple of little things that I've suggested, like the chewies or the throat clear or having a nice warm cup of tea straight after you eat. They all help. So I really recommend going and seeing a naturopath if you do have any food allergies or any phlegm symptoms or sinus symptoms or anything like that. I'm sure that they'll be able to help you if you find a really good one. And I think that's about it. I've pretty much shown you almost my whole toolbox, except actually my little piggy gadget here. This is my humidifier, which is quite new. I found him in a store not long ago. But rather than it just being like one that's just emanating nice smells into the air, can't remember what you call them, this one is a humidifier as well. So it's actually just bursting steam out of its belly, out of its head. So it's doing a similar thing as this, but I'm not putting my face over the front of it, obviously, but it's just putting moisture back into the air, into my house, into the room I'm in. So that's all helping to just keep everything in here moist and stopping it from drying out as often as it seems to want to. So I think that's it. Like I may have shared in my video recently where I shared my full journey, I'm not completely healed. I still get tension in my larynx. I'm feeling it a little bit now. I still have some pain now and again when I'm speaking. The letter H and the kurt sounds, they seem to be the two main ones that are the hardest ones for me to make, specifically when I'm singing. When I go to sing a high note that maybe starts with an H, or if I try and come out with a kurt sound, they'll be the ones I really need to be mindful of just bringing very forward and not letting catch back here. So I'm still on this journey. I wanted to share a video about my journey so much longer ago, but until I was able to speak a little bit better, I knew I wouldn't be able to even share any of these tools with you sufficiently enough. But there's some of the things that have really helped and do help me on a daily basis still. If any of them work for you, I'm really glad to have been able to share them. And if you have any ideas that have worked for you, I'm still constantly looking for, that magic pill, that silver bullet that's maybe going to just fix me overnight. So if you have anything that's not going to cost me $1,500 to do a 12-week course or something like that, but you're willing to share it with the rest of us who are still just searching for the answers, please put it in the comments below, or make a video and tag me in it, send it to me. I would love to hear it. So yeah, once again, be blessed, be brave, be courageous, be strong, be hopeful, and be joyful. Oh, and that reminds me, another thing that has really helped me is so I can stop thinking about myself and what's wrong with me and just fixating on the hopelessness or the pain or the stress or how long this is going on for. One thing that can help bring you out of that is to do something nice for somebody else. Do something positive for somebody else. Find somebody in your day or several people. It's really, really helpful if it can be even more than one. But if you can only manage one, that's still good, that you can do something for. And it doesn't mean getting out of your house or going and cleaning their house or doing anything major like that. It may be, maybe that's something you can do. But it could be something like just sending them a thank you email. It could be sending them a positive text. It could be, if you're a person of faith like me, finding an encouraging Bible verse in a book like this or straight out of the Bible. This is just Bible verses, but just reprinted under topics of certain categories. But straight out of the Bible, you can even just Google it in your internet browser and just find what's an encouraging Bible verse and, text it on to someone is doing it tough. Or it could be sending someone flowers, or it could be telling someone you love them, or it could be smiling at someone as you walk down the street, or it could be really encouraging and thanking the person that makes your coffee over the counter. Whatever you can find that would be encouraging to someone else, that you feel would be uplifting for them and could help make their day brighter, actually gives you back so much love, so much joy, and so much positivity, and it helps you to feel better about yourself. If you can't feel better about any of this stuff that's going on with your throat and your voice, you're singing, you're not singing, you're speaking or you're not speaking, feel good about being nice and kind and loving and positive to somebody else. And another brilliant thing that came into my life a little while ago was a cousin of ours, and she shared with me that she does these gratefulness texts, and at the end of every day we think of 3 things that we're grateful for, and we write them down, grateful dash dash dash, and we write them out. And then below them we do 2 things that we feel like we're doing really well in. So she calls it smashing it. She said, I feel like it's much more powerful if I say I'm smashing it. So she does 3 grateful things and then 2 smashing it things, and then we text it off to each other. You can start that with anyone. You don't have to wait for someone to send it to you. You could talk with somebody and say, hey, do you want to do this with me? This is going to really help me in my journey. I hope that it inspires, encourages you. If you want to do it back to me, that's awesome. But it's really, really good for our mental health and our positive well-being and state of mental health if we can learn to be more grateful and have gratitude for the things that we have in life and the things that we can do.
when we feel like there's so much we can't do. So that's another really, really positive idea, and I encourage you to give it a try if you're not already doing something like that. Anyway, I've rambled for enough time, and yeah, once again, comments or questions below, and I'd love to receive them, and I hope to hear from you. And if not, I hope that something I've mentioned encourages you, and if you give it a go and it works for you, then please let me know. And likewise, please share anything that's working for you. Bye for now.